Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. I don't know where to start from first between Sally and Phyllis. Let's start off with Phyllis for a minute. Phyllis, I swear, I feel like when I go from Phyllis to Nina, it's like I'm looking at two delusional ass women. The difference is Phyllis might actually be worse. Phyllis may actually be worse between the two because Phyllis comes in there in the room and tells Ashley and Nikki, "Oh, by the way, girls, yeah, I got Jeremy Stark to come after Diane." Yeah, I pretty much said that she ratted him out. You know, the guy that just spent years in prison, who's a recently convicted felon. Yeah, I did that. Ashley's like, "Are you nuts? Like, what are you thinking? Like, we don't want her dead. We just want her. We don't know what this guy can do. He's an unknown factor. On top of that, she's not there. On top of that, Ashley's saying that we don't know if it's even true. What if this guy decides to turn on us? Nikki's like, well, I'm gonna sit there and get Victor to secure, to get extra security on the whole family just to make sure. Nick, Nick, you have no idea who this guy is, who's he knows, what his connections is. Or this guy may even be more powerful than the great Victor Newman. At first, she was like, "Oh, well, I think it's gonna be fine. I think you're overreacting." When did Ashley actually grow a brain? I mean, I get that Ashley's like, I want her gone, but this may not be the way to do it. Phyllis is on some straight up gangster edge. She's like, "I want gone." Like she's literally like throwing her hands up, and it got to a point she got so worked up that she had to sit down and take like a 30-second break. I'm just like, yo, this chick is wilding out. Like you're straight out wilding out. I'm like, I sat there and by the way, I saw the previews and Summer is pissed because Summer's like, yo, you could have you're pretty much endangering our whole family with this Jeremy Starks guy. And when Ashley kept telling her that, she was just like, what are you talking about? I don't think anything's going to happen to us. I think everything's going to be fine. You're dealing with a convicted felon that just got released, that wants to hurt Diane, and your family's a joint. You don't think there's a possibility that the best way to sit there and hurt her is to get to her family, aka your family as well? I just don't understand how this chick didn't even possibly think of the idea that. I mean, here's the thing. I get that she's angry at her for things that wound up happening probably before I was born, but I don't understand how she didn't think of that possibility. The sad thing is that Victor was right. Victor was not there telling Nick some facts, and Nick was not trying to hear it. Nick went to find Sally, and she wasn't in her room, so he came down to start talking to Victor. At first, it was about business, but of course, it gets into that Spectre woman. And he was like, "Yeah, I got a whole dossier on her, all the stuff that she did in L.A. with the Spencers and the Foresters, faking a terminal disease, makeup and everything, a walker, just to get a guy's affection." I mean, it's pretty bad. And when I started watching B&B, I came into the tail end of it. This is where Sally decided to kidnap Flo to be with Wyatt and get that idiot doctor to go along with. By the way, does she ever get fired or arrested or fired? I seriously hope she's not practicing medicine at this point. But I remember that chick, and she irked the living hell out of me. Um, but I also remember the really silly, goofy lovemaking scenes that they did during that time period, and that they made up for all the scenes that annoyed me. But Nick is like, she's a changed woman, and you always look down upon her, this, that, and the third, and Victor's like, listen, at the end of this is about family, and this woman is driving a wedge between you and him, and you're gonna regret that one day. You are going to regret that. So Adam comes in to be all up in Sally's face, right? All up in her face, and it gets to a point where she's like, you know what? Listen, well, she's frustrated because she's trying to get a job, and she talks to him, and she's like, I can't shake this feeling. I can't shake this feeling of you. I was like, oh no, no. By the way, Nick did sit there and tell his dad that he offered her money to start up her own business, and she declined it. But anyway, the minute that she said, okay, we're gonna have to finish this. Come with me. Come with you. Where are you going? Where's she going? The minute I saw her go back to her hotel room, I was like, oh hell no. But what are you doing? Why are you going backwards for? Like what are you? Hey, granted, here's the thing. I don't know much about Adam. I don't know much about Nick. But I'm just like, this is why Nick was like, yo, you need to be sure. You need to be sure of what you want. You need to be sure of what you want, because I'm not going to sit there and be doing this back and forth games. And of course, she was like, no, I know what I want. I want you. She invites this man up to the room. They have a honest conversation. And after her Smith is saying, well, what you did to me, it really hurt me, and yada, yada, yada. It's like, bro, listen, we get it. Adam gets it. And the thing is, I understand the hurt part, but she's forgetting the part where he tried to do it to save her job. Yeah, it was crappy the way he went about it. But his heart was in the right place. Next thing you know, he kisses her. And I'm like, oh, hell no. And she kisses him back. And right then and there, I was like, you might have been mad at your dad. Okay, you might have been mad at your dad. But you know what? Your dad was right. Your dad was right. Now, again, I don't know their history. I know that they've always went after the same woman. Sharon, and I don't know who else, but they seem like they compete against, for the same woman. Right then and there, I was like, Sally. Now, I think this might have had something to do with the fans. People sit there and say Adam and Sally have more chemistry than Nick, and okay, so cool. The fans got what they wanted. I guess everyone's happy. The stories is definitely picking up. Diane is having a 1 second. Diane is sitting there having a conversation with Tucker, and the thing is that Diane was sitting there saying when she was telling Tucker, "Oh, by the way, my family, my son is going to protect me, and Jack, and my family is standing by me." I'm like, whoa, what do you mean your son is going to protect you? Your son is going to protect you from a dangerous ex-con. Do you hear yourself? Do you understand how just backwards that sentence sounds? And Tucker's like, you don't know what your family doesn't know what they're getting into. They really don't. So they go back and forth, and of course, Diane is like, well, I couldn't get what you wanted, and yada yada yada. They go back and forth for a little bit, until Devon comes in, and Devon's like, all right, you can spend some time with your grandson. So they part ways, and Tucker gets a chance to spend time with his grandson. He brings up Abby and Amanda, and of course he's like, he's not talking about that. He's not ready to talk about that. What it really comes down to is he's not ready to face reality what he did. Because if he talks about it with someone out loud, it becomes truthful. It's like a breakup that's just it hurts a lot. You know, you don't really want to sit there and talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, then it's not true. Or at least it doesn't become more truer. So he just skips the whole conversation about that. I wonder how Abby's going to feel about Tucker spending time with Dom. I'm pretty sure she's not going to be happy about that. I think I might have forgot yesterday or maybe the day before, if I didn't do it, that, you know, Devon and Abby almost kissed. I was like, what are you doing? Like, bro, sis, what are you doing? Diane comes in to talk to the quote unquote coven of Genoa City. I was going to sit there and say Salem. Genoa City. They exchange words for a little bit, and eventually they all leave. And Diane's, you know, just kind of hanging out there. Gets a ring on the door. She goes to the door thinking it's Jack. She can see it's not Jack, so now she's just like, try to play it cool. She opens the door, Jeremy Stark. And he's just like, did you miss me? And like right then and there, I'm like, well, I'd have stuck around with YNR for a little bit, because I don't know. It took some time to get into, and plus, like I said, my schedule was just really crazy at work and just flip flopping days, and I was doing these reviews like at like 11 o'clock at night. It was just crazy. But I think if I would have stuck with it, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. I mean, I realized that each show has its own rhythm, and they're not alike. Like YNR and GH are obviously different. Same thing with all the shows and Days of Our Lives. But they have their interesting moments, and they have their interesting characters. And I'm going to be honest, even in the beginning, when I first started watching GH, I stopped watching for a little bit. Like after like 3 days, I just stopped watching it. I was like, I don't really know. But I think what pushed me to watch it was because I was watching Port Charles. I just love Port Charles so much. And I knew that it was in the same universe. So it was like, yeah, I need to sit there and watch what's going on the other side of Port Charles. So I stuck with it. And I'm glad that I did stick with it with YNR, because now it is getting good. It took a while to get there, but it's getting good. I don't know. I think enough interesting stuff started happening, and I started to get more invested into the characters, that it just made it work for me. Let me just double check my notes to see if I didn't forget anything. I feel like that's about it. I can't really think of anything else that happened, but all in all, I would sit there and say it's a good episode. And I can't wait for Monday's episode. I mean, I know, with YNR, you could watch the next day. They always film like a day ahead. So I'm looking forward to watching that, because it seems like it's going to get really interesting. But with that being said, I'm going to go. I can't really think of anything else happen. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video. Kind of want to wait till it gets to 14 minutes. I just not a fan of 13. I'm somewhat superstitious, as in somewhat very superstitious. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.